Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome back to the channel. Here we are again with another tier list. I've been promising to do one of these for a while, and I thought we'd have actually gotten to it when we did the live version of the podcast there a few weeks ago, but that just didn't happen. So I can really only apologize for that. We've just had so many topics to cover. And then this week, of course, if you've been keeping up to date on social media, just I haven't really been well. I haven't really my leg has been um, in a lot of pain. I'm not quite sure what I did to it. I have a doctor's appointment today, which is why I'm doing this, because I feel like I should do something. I should have some sort of content ready to go, And I thought, okay, this will be fun. I wasn't expecting this tier list to have basically every character outside of the reboot, but we'll work with what we have. Like there's a few manga characters missing, but we'll work with what we have based on this. So this is the human character tier list for Digimon in general. There will be a link in the description down below. I'll try not to spend too much time deliberating on why I would put certain people in certain places, but I've added in this no knowledge tier, so if it's a video game character that I just don't have the experience with because the game was never localized and I just wasn't interested enough to go and watch a playthrough on YouTube or something, that's where they'll go. I didn't add in any funny tiers like, F for, the Taguru tier. Speaking of which, I mean, we'll just start off with that. Um, but outside of this, we'll go through them character by character. I'll give a couple of seconds to why, and hopefully then we finish up in good enough time that we can. Well, I can wrap this up. You guys can give me some feedback on your thoughts on where people should go, and I'll look forward to speaking to you in the comments. So, before we start, if you haven't, do like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. We are aiming for 5,000 subs, so we're nearly there. We're about 230-ish off. So if you guys could help grow that number, that'd be a great help. Liking the video also, gives it to the algorithm and lets the algorithm know to share it with other fans, and we can grow our little Digimon community here. Um, so let's start off then with Iru Suzaku, I think that was her name, from Cross Wars Young Hunters. I enjoyed her at the time. I think I would need to rewatch Cross Wars and see if my feelings at the time hold up here. But I remember not hating her character. I thought her interactions with you and how that relationship developed was really fun. But Opossumon, was great. A lot of her character is in her partner and her banter with Opossumon and conversely Cho Hakaimon. So I think she's a good C character. Like she's definitely not one of the best, but she's certainly memorable. Alice then from Tamers, I don't have a lot of fondness for. Like I get why the community, enjoys the character and likes her, but I don't remember ever having such a fondness for and I can't really get into the minutia of why that is because I know there are people watching this who are only starting Tamers and, coming into that for the first time. So I don't want to give the twist of her character away, but I think similar to Iru, I mean, she's a C-level character for me, but um, and it's only because again, I would probably, in hindsight, I could probably benefit from rewatching Tamers, but uh, it is what it is. Um, then we have Angie from Fusion, or Akari from Cross Wars, if you prefer the Japanese name, and that's it, Akari, because I remember like Taiki and Akari being equated to Taichi and Hikari from Adventure, naming wise. And I remember when it was announced for localization, people were like, Oh yeah, they're just gonna call her Kari, aren't they? And it's gonna be this little throwback. Um, but then Taiki ended up becoming Mikey rather than another Tai or something. So that it is what it is. Angie as a character, she's a B plus player. I'm hesitant to put her up into A, but if I do, she's like bottom A. Um, maybe A minus B plus, but she's definitely like her narrative across the Cross Wars show, her support of Taiki, her always making sure that he doesn't overstretch himself because Taiki will help people to his detriment. There's being helpful and then there's injuring yourself to help someone, so she always sort of keeps him in check, and the dynamic between the two was really fun. And again, like Iru, she's certainly memorable. She might not be the best character overall, but she's certainly memorable for her actions on the show, and I couldn't fault anyone if they put her up higher than B. um Astra from Applemon. Ooh, I I don't like Astra. I think he had a nice character development arc, working from becoming effectively a YouTuber and a streamer into taking over the family business and learning how to juggle the two and things like that. Um, I think he had a really good character arc, but I think his characterization in the first half of the show before that starts coming up really does damage him. And I don't feel like he recovers from that. Um, but if you do, awesome. I'd love to hear about it in the comments below and why you think I might be wrong on this. But I'm gonna say he's not as bad as Taguru. It's very close though, but I'd say maybe he's a C minus for me personally. Then we have Kiriha Onuma from Cross Wars, or Christopher, if you prefer the dub name. And yeah, he's just kind of a B. Like he's Yamato but angrier. With a bit of Toma's backstory mixed in. Like his backstory is woeful. Um, like from a, oh god, this kid has been through hell. But he like for the initial stages of Cross Wars, he does just come across as angrier Yamato. But he's the lone wolf character who has a Greymon, which is a nice twist, but that doesn't save his character. Um, so I think a B. Whether he's one of the main characters of the show. I don't know if he's a better character than Akari. So we're gonna leave him here for the moment, and um, card subject to change. Iori, D. You're not as bad as Taguru, but you're still a D. Daisuke. Oh god, you're a D. Like Iori is just to this day, I do not like Iori, even on rewatches of Zero Two or reliving Zero Two vicariously through Meg's first time watching of it and her tweeting about it and me going, "Oh yeah, this is why I hate this character." Like I get he's meant to be the kid character, and he's got a strong sense of duty and such, and I can appreciate that. But his treatment of Ken after everything and not really, sort of being the last to come around on forgiving him and, giving him a second chance, and the whole thing with, oh no, I had to tell a lie. And Joe having to sort of go, look, it was a white lie. You're okay. Don't worry. And then of course, like the thing the Zero Two kids get the most guff for is the whole, oh, we can't kill Digimon, even though like they're a hair's breadth away from jabbing their claws through us. But no, 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 we can't do that. Yeah, like it's just, uh, I feel like he forgave Oikawa much more quickly than he forgave Ken. Like I'm open to correction on that, but I feel like when Oikawa when that whole thing went down and he was like, you're so close, come on, you're in the digital world, you could meet your partner, and Oikawa has kind of been the mastermind behind the show until we learned that it's actually Vamdemon again. But with Ken, it was like 10 episodes of just, you get the frick away from me. I want nothing to do with you. You're still a horrible person. Yeah, it's yeah, just Iori can die in a fire. Daisuke, like Taguru is Daisuke, but worse. Daisuke, Daisuke's redeeming factor is that he's not Taguru. That's really all I can say. Eri Karan, from Apple Monster. God, she's S tier, and I will fight anybody on that. She is the most. I've gone on about this before in other videos, so I won't dwell on it too much. But she is the most grounded and rounded character. Sorry, the most grounded, rounded, and realistic female character that this franchise has ever produced. Um, her goals to strive as an idol, the sort of the um, her doing it to be able to support her family or her mother, who's overworked trying to raise her alone, so she's trying to give back and you know take on make it so that her mom doesn't have so much of a burden to pay the bills, keep a roof over their head, and she's doing everything she can. She's not afraid to actually get into fights with Digimon, much like Masaru. Like, she's plenty of times throughout the show, she's kicked and punched, and you know, explosive punching is her catchphrase and all that. But um, and then and then the whole thing, her work ethic is never called into question when she's training for like that grand competition, midway through the show, and and she's being, and she's training under I can't remember its name now, but she's training under a Digimon that has been sent by Leviathan to wipe her out. But her work ethic and dedication to being the best that she can possibly be turns him over to the good side, and that's what allows her partner to get to the next stage. And she's a really good character from start to finish. A bit tropey in terms of the catchphrases and such, but just it's the little character moments where like she'll climb up on a chair or a table to give out this big grandiose anime speech, but she makes sure to take her shoes off first because that's disrespectful. And it's just the little things like that. Eri is amazing, and throughout the franchise, I think like she's the best female character the franchise has. So yeah, we'll move on. You Amano. Ah, oh, I think you're a C. I think you're a very high C. But I didn't really care for his story arc in Cross Wars 1 and 2. And then, him being the secondary character, like him being the lone, not necessarily the lone wolf, but he's the secondary character to Taguru's protagonist in Cross Wars 3, even though he's more of a veteran of the original Cross Wars cast. Like, he's sort of a 0-2 element. Like, he's the Takaru is probably the best way of putting it. He started off as the little kid in the original show and then joined the new cast as the secondary character. And I think I prefer Damemon over you. But I also think it's fitting that you and Iru end up on the same tier together. So, there's that. Then there's Haru. Oh, Haru is a precious being who deserves all of your love. And I like that he's more like Takado than Taichi or Taiki or Masaru or anything. I really do. Um, I think he goes through a great character arc of always being, by his own admission, like a background character in a story, and wanting to be a protagonist and wanting to find like the strength and the motivation to. Well, the motivation's not there. Like, he'll always do the right thing, but to be his own person and not be so reliant on Eugen. Um, I'd I'd say he's an A. I'm gonna be honest. I think he's an A character. Um, and then we get to Henry, or Jian Lee. I'm always afraid I'll butcher his um his his original name. I think it's Jian Lee, but Henry. We'll say this. We'll say Henry for the sake of not butchering the name and offending people because of it. So Henry. Uh, he's a B, I guess. He's probably better than these two, but I definitely think he's a B character. I don't. This might become a theme as we're going through Tamers, but I don't have a lot of attachment to Henry. Um, I think him being very overprotective of Terriermon in the early outs of the show was kind of unique, especially contrasted against Rika just not caring, or Rookie, I guess. Um, it was a nice contrast in that regard, like where he was overprotective. Um, Rookie didn't really care, and Takado was just this baby who was new to Digimon, as a whole. So in terms of the triangle there and their parallels and contrasts and such, I think he works really well. But I couldn't tell you anything about his development as a character. And again, maybe that's just chalked up to me needing to rewatch Tamers, but 'cause it has been a few years. But yeah, yeah, I think I'm okay there. Koshiro Izumi Classic, and Classic is important here because this tier list doesn't have the reboot characters on it. Um, Koshiro Izumi Classic. Yeah, you're an A. That's not even nostalgia bias. Like, he hacks Digivolution in episode 5 of the original show. He's the brains behind everything. He's the one to work out a plan. He builds the network the Digimon can hide in from the virus and try. Um, his character growth, learning to cope with the idea he's adopted, him feeling lesser as a person because of that, and overcoming all of that, really good. Reboot Koshiro doesn't come close in terms of the overall growth of Koshiro as a character throughout Adventure Zero Two Try, and I haven't seen Kizuna yet, because again, just the import fees on the Blu-ray, I cannot justify for how tired of the adventure setup and universe as a whole that I am. But Koshiro Classic, yeah, he's an A. Zenjiro, yeah, you're a D. You're you're better than those three though, so you're a low D. Unlike so in Cross Wars, Zenjiro is the third character who of Team Crossheart. So Team Crossheart is made up of Taiki, Akari, and Zenjiro at the start. Akari, the twist on it being Akari and Zenjiro don't have Digimon partners. They're not generals. They're just sort of tagging along for the ride because the digital world called to them as well. And there's reasons for that get explained later on when super evolution becomes a thing. But Zenjiro, his constant sort of fawning and lusting, yeah, over Nene gets really awkward really fast. Um, his self-imparted eternal rivalry with Taiki, it just does nothing for me. And he, again, similar to Henry, I I couldn't tell you anything about Zenjiro's development as a character over the course of the show, so I think he rates fairly low. Um, then we have Jury or Jerry, whose developments and such I cannot spoil because I know there are people watching this going into Tamers for the first time. But if you know, you know, she's A. Like, oh god, no, she's S. She is an S. I don't think she's as much of an S as Eri. I think Eri is much better developed as a human. But for what Jury goes through in the show and how that builds her character from start to finish, oh, oh, it's a whopper. Yeah, no, jury's if S minus might be a thing, very A plus. I somewhere in there, but we'll say S because I know that'll make some people happy. Particularly the ones who are annoyed that I've put Eri as my first S rank character. Joe Keto, classic. Can we scroll back up, please? I think he's a B. I think he's probably there on the B rank, though. I think Joe is a B. the hype, seeing his development over the course of adventure, how much he matured in Zero Two, how much life expectancy and his role in society is taking on him, on his his crisis of conscience in Try over trying to juggle his digidestined and real life responsibilities. Um, he has such a good character growth arc, but similar to Koshiro Classic, he does have the benefit of having three, if not four, outings minimum to develop that character. And I say minimum because this isn't taking into account things like drama CDs and side stories and such. This is just taking the anime at face value. I think Joe has one of the better character arcs, but as a character himself, I think he's a bit. I think he's a B. I think that's fair. Junpei or JP. I'm sorry, man. I just similar to Zenjiro, like his constant fawning over Izumi or Zoe, it just it just grates. And maybe it's because I'm older and I'm looking at things through a different lens now than I was then. But it does just grate. And I know there's one person in particular who will put me on a skewer for that ranking. You know what? I'll give you this. Like you're better than Iori and you're better than Taguru, but I think Daisuke might actually be better than you, Junpei. So sorry. Hikari Classic. Gosh, you're a C. You really are just like you're a high C, but you're a C. I mean, you're just you're just Jesus. Like that's all you are. You're just Jesus. Like you've got you've got psychic powers in season 1 that never turn up again in season 2 aside from one episode which may as well not be canon cuz they've done nothing with it. Um you're a host body to digital world spirits. Homeostasis says hello. Um yeah, you've got Jesus powers when the plot suits it, and then you don't, and then you're just kind of staring into space. Um, at the moment, the jury is out on whether reboot Hikari is actually better than Hikari Classic. But judging Hikari Classic from Adventure to Zero Two to Try and Kizuna, from what little I've seen of Kizuna, yeah, I think C is about right. Uh, yeah. Kazu D. Next, Icto. Sorry, Kazu is from Tamers. I don't like him. Kenta will probably end up in D tier as well, so just a bit of forewarning. Um, then we have Icto. Ah, God, you're a C. I Icto doesn't really appeal to me. Like he's got the whole Tarzan thing in that he was lost in the digital world because of shenanigans and was raised by Digimon and thinks he's a Digimon. So he's got the whole Tarzan thing going for him. I just never understood why even in the Japanese and the English versions he speaks in broken English or Japanese when he was raised by Digimon who speak those languages fluently. Like I never liked that to begin with. I genuinely never liked that to begin with. But his character development he doesn't really have any either. His character development is humans are bad. I hate Karada. Humans are okay, I guess. Yeah, yeah, like yeah. I think I'm happy where I've placed Icto. Um, I do think these characters are better. Maybe that. I could go either way on that, but we'll leave it at that for the moment. Kanichi Joji S. Fight me. Wow. I've just looked out my window and it is snowing. What? Why is it snowing? Anyway, so Kenichi Joji, I mean he's like Tommy the Green Ranger, isn't he? Like he starts off evil, he becomes good. He has trouble earning the other cast members' trust and then he becomes the most popular character on the show. Like his character arc does actually follow the same trajectory as Tommy from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Um, but yeah, I mean, whether it's the Digimon Kaiser or it's Ken, you know, he's got a great character on either side of that. His backstory, his reasons for becoming evil and becoming the Digimon Kaiser, or Emperor, if you prefer. Um, his whole dynamic with Sam and the influence his relationship with Sam even had on the look of the Digimon Kaiser, and how he always felt inferior because his parents, they lavished all their love and attention on Sam because he was the genius, and he didn't really get any um he didn't really get any affection from his parents until Sam died and he became the genius, thanks to the dark spores. So yeah, Ken is definitely S rank. I would be tempted to put the ranking that way though. We'll see how I feel. Card subject to change and all that. So moving on then. So moving on, we have Kenta from Tamers. Yeah, you're a D. Moving on. Koichi Frontier. You're tough. You're tough to place because as a character, you're in the show for maybe 5 minutes. Uh, uh, Without giving too much away, Koichi's contribution to the show as Koichi is uh, it's it's fine, but I don't think he'd be up here because of it. He's in the show as Koichi. Now, I'm trying to be very careful here. As Koichi, he's in the show for about 5 minutes, um, if even. But the build up to bringing him into the show and what other aspects of his story contribute to Frontier. When the Frontier cast isn't being whomped on by the Royal Knights for 20 episodes straight, I think is really good. But I don't think it helps save Frontier as a show, in my opinion, and it doesn't give us much as Koichi as a person. So think, I think you're down here, buddy. That feels wrong, but eh. Then Koji, Koichi's brother. Um, uh, to say, I'm probably way off base there. And again, it probably would be worth rewatching Frontier because similar to Tamers, it's been a few years. But yeah, like Koichi at least is in the show from start to finish, and they try and do fun stuff with him with his relationship uh, and stuff going on because of Koichi. So they at least try. Uh, you're probably up here. Actually, you know what? I like you more than the bottom rung there. So yeah, I think that's a good fit for you. Um, Masaru's little sister. Uh, is it Christy or Kirsty in the dub? And oh God, what was her name in the Japanese version? I mean, she gets partnered with a Piyomon, a really big Piyomon. Um, I think it's Kirsty. Uh, in the oh, it is. Sorry, it's Christy. I had to look it up. Chica. That's why, because that's why I couldn't recall it, because the lettering isn't even the same. It doesn't follow any trend. So it's Christy Damon or Chica Daimon. Um, she's a walking little sister trope, just thankfully without the other implications in Japanese media that usually brings. Thank God, thank God, thank God. Yggdrasil, you did well. Um, you're probably you're a walking trope, so you're definitely a C character. she doesn't really, her relationship with her Piyomon is great. That whole dynamic is really fun to see play out. But in terms of her contributions to the plot overall and her not being a main character, um, yeah, do you know what? I think we'll put you here. You're not so bad that I would just dump you in D tier straight away. Um, but yeah. All right. Masaru Daimon or Marcus Daimon, if you prefer. I'm I'm fighting everything in my physical mortal being to put him in S rank. I really am. And there's a lot of bias and there's a lot of favoritism in this choice, and I'm not going to be in denial about my hypocrisy here. Daimon Masaru or Masaru Daimon, like he is the main character. Like the others, they get their screen time and they get their evolutions and everything else, but he's the center of the universe on the show. But not only is he the center of the universe on the show, similar to Eri, he also fights the Digimon. He'll jump in fists first, and him doing this is the only way Agumon can evolve. The gimmick for this show is that Agumon cannot evolve until Masaru punches a Digimon right in the face. Like that's the gimmick. Uh, Eri isn't beholden to such a gimmick. She just gets in because that's her character. Um, but there's, but Savers is the show that really got me back into this franchise. After Frontier, I was kind of like, man, I don't know if this is for me anymore. But then Savers came along, and it had a much more mature art style. It had much more mature looking characters. They basically work for Digimon Men in Black at the start of the show, you know, and that's what the show like the show Savers is pretty much Digimon Men in Black. Like instead of aliens causing shenanigans and going out to memory wipe the populace and resolve the problems, it's Digimon. They are Digimon Men in Black. This secret branch of the government that they don't talk about. Um, but he is the centerpiece. Like his father was this legendary agent for the company, and he's gone missing. And oh, where is he? It's been 10 years, and now his son finds himself in the same organization. And is this a coincidence? Like there's a whole lot of like this is the Masaru show, and in a lot of like maybe not to the extent that Adventure 2020 is the Taichi show. uh, Masaru, the other characters in Masaru show at least still contribute to the fighting and to the resolution of the stories. They don't get sent off to play Battleship for 6 episodes straight while Taichi does everything. Okay, Yamato was there too, I guess. But I'm sorry, I'm not letting that go. I will never let that go. So there is a lot of bias for me in this pick simply because Masaru is really the one he's part of the show that got me back into the series and into the franchise even. And I sort of owe a lot to that because I wouldn't be recording this video, I wouldn't be doing the podcast in general, I wouldn't really be doing any of that now if Savers hadn't brought me back and reeled me back in. So there's a lot of bias there. Plus, I used to run a RPG character who was Masaru before Masaru. So when I seen that sort of characterization on screen, I was like, hey, wait a minute, this is familiar. I like this. So there's a lot of personal reason and bias, and I am fighting everything in me to put him in S rank because of that. And maybe I would, you know, he definitely saved my interest in the franchise, but you know, you know what? Yeah, screw it. We're going to run with it. I know the comments are going to be angry anyway. May as well add fuel to the fire. Yamato. Uh, Yamato. Yamato Classic. So this is the Yamato that got told to go kill his friends by a talking tree. Uh, soul reflecting river and all that. Oh, this is tough. I don't dislike him enough that he's a C. He's probably that's probably about right. Um, he's the only one who never really felt like his crest was deserved in the original series. Reboot Yamato isn't really doing much better, but judging Yamato from the classic timeline, I don't have a lot of love for him. He was never my favorite character, and it just always just seemed to make me go, yeah. I won't spend too much time on him because again my appointment is at like a quarter to four, so I do need to try and oh god, we've a lot of characters left. I've got to try and get through this as quick as I can and then get ready for my doctor's appointment. The painkillers are starting to wear off, and my leg is starting to seize up also, so that's fun. So I'll do Mickey and Megumi together. Um, the mini skirt police for DATS, also from Digimon Savers. They have identical Digimon based on chess pieces, which I think is a really cute gimmick. But Miki and Megumi, like your D characters, you you're there and you're memorable, but you don't really contribute to the plot. Um, and then they stuck you in jumpsuits with your cleavage hanging out, and that was certainly interesting for the art style of the show. Um, That might have just been one of them, though. It was still a thing they did. When they weren't allowed to wear their police uniforms anymore, they stuck them in jumpsuits. Um, Me back in 2005, 2006, when the show was airing, is like, yeah, that's awesome. Today, I'd probably sort of, I'd probably feel differently about it. Like, I don't object to fan service. I don't care. Like I've gone on record multiple times saying that I think the absurdity of how far they tried to go with Rosemont's fan service in this show loops back on itself to become parody. It's so ridiculous. So I'm not upset by fan service. Um, but certain artists, certain animation teams on the show certainly had a lot more fun with it than others. Let's just say that. Um, Now, Mako. Oh, Mako. Oh, Mako. Oh, Mako Mochizuki. What do we do with you? You were fine in the first three chapters of Try, and then your character sort of falls off a cliff late into chapter four and into five and six when it becomes the must protect show. I don't think you're a bad character with a bad plot. I just think it was badly executed. And unfortunately, that does hurt Mako as a whole. Mm, no, she's not even a low end B character. I think she's probably about here in C rank. And also that feels wrong because I love Mekumon, but eh, right. Taguru, the original Goggle Boy from Cross Wars before this abomination turned up and stole the show. You're a B. I think you're a much more grounded and tactical Goggle Boy, and I love that. But and but I think at some points you're too perfect. Um, and then the execution of your backstory on why you go out and help everyone you can with as much effort as possible and hurt yourself in the process. I don't think the payoff for that is justified. I don't. um Hold on, excuse me, I need to excuse me here. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't think the payoff for why his character is the way it is justified. So, yeah, probably about here. Aye, Mimi. Mimi Classic. Not to be confused with Mimi 2020, who would be S rank, fight me. But Mimi Classic, I think, is a good A. I think she's a good A. Her sort of evolving from spoiled princess into, a decent human being is is good, and then, her helping Miyako, sort of find herself as a person or be an inspiration for the person Miyako would like to be in season two is really fun. Try She doesn't really get to do much. Her all because her interaction is all around, bringing Mako out of her shell, which I think is really good. And there's the whole thing about whether her personality is too abrasive because of the festival and the outfits and such. And then it's her relearning her character arc and being true to herself. Yeah, yeah, she's an A. Um, don't know if she's better. I don't know if she's a better A than Koshiro or even Haru, but she's definitely an A rank. And then we have Nene from Cross Wars, Nene Amano. Ooh, you started off really good, Nene. Your character is one of the highlights of Cross Wars Season 1. Your relationship with Dark Knightmon, um, everything about your brother, it's all really good. And then Season 2, no, then you join Team Cross Heart, and that aloofness and mysteriousness kind of goes away. And I mean, they turn your Digivice pink. Um, and then in season three, you're an idol for some reason, despite that never being part of your character arc in the original two seasons. You're just suddenly an idol. And I do think that hurts. I like Mako, not Mako, Jesus. Nene's character development went the other way. She started off all mysterious and aloof, and she was on the villain side, but not really, and there was a whole thing there. And then once that stopped being a thing, her personality did a complete 180. It wasn't even a gradual 180 where the audience could follow along and sort of go, "Oh, that makes sense. Oh, she has an interest in this. Oh, it's blah 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 blah." It was just no, she's just done a personality 180. Um, so I do think that hurts her. And I think it probably puts her about here. Yeah, higher than the walking trope, higher than that. I'll say here. Oh, no. There? Yeah, maybe there. Because there's a lot of good that keeps her in a low A to B rank as a character, but just there's a lot of good that would justify maybe her being here. Certainly not an A. She's definitely like a B minus. That certainly then drops to a C plus. So, um, ah, God, you have the best song on the vocal CD. What is your name again? Ray. That's it. Ray from Applemon. Yeah, we're just gonna stick you up here. Um, he has one of the best character arcs, turning from obnoxious jerk to a team player and a member and somebody that the cast can rely on. He has a great actual character arc. It's Yamato done right. Honestly, it's Yamato done right. There's elements of Nene's character in him because Applemon, as much as people love to say, is quote unquote not Digimon, is the most Digimon series of them all. Like a, it takes all of the good efforts and failed storylines of the original shows and just does them better. It just does. So Ray is definitely an A rank because he's Yamato done right with a mix of Nene in there for to spice things up a bit. Ren, Hat Boy from Cross Wars. Yeah, you're down here. I don't remember a thing about you. Rookie. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, this. Oh, okay. Her character development is really strong, and again, is a case of Yamato done right. Um, I don't know if her character story works out better than Ray, but yeah, I if I put her in S, I have to put Ray in S, and I don't want to abuse the S rank. So yeah, she's a good A. Um, Tell you what, we'll even do this. I think that's maybe a bit more fair. Um, Rio Akiyama from Digimon Tamers, formerly of Digimon Adventure Classic. I'm gonna, guys. Oh, and he did get his own spin-off manga. Um, the name of which I cannot remember right now. Um, no, not next. It was a Korean manhwa. It wasn't like, but he did get his own spin-off manga. He was the goggle boy for his team, but similar to Masaru, just doesn't wear goggles. Um, I don't have a lot of love for Rio. I think he's a cool character in concept. Um, but even like with it, taking the Wonder Swan games aside, like leaving those alone and his interactions with Ken, um, before he got absorbed into the Tamers universe. Spoilers, I guess. So taking all of that aside, and just his portrayal as a character in Tamers, he was never my favorite. He's got a cool partner. I mean, the Monodramon line up to Justimon is really good. But a lot depend like if a lot of his character arc depends on video games that the Western world never got, and then his own portrayal in the anime he was the guest character in was kind of flat. I yeah, to me, like Rio, he's a C for me. Because if you're taking his full continuity into account, contradictions aside, it relies on video games that we never seen where he interacts with the adventure cast, and they basically they're not great. The adventure cast are not great people to Ryo. Vamdemon tells him he'll cut off his head. There's like the Wonder Swan games are fun for all the wrong reasons. But then in Tamers, he's just kind of there. I feel like he's got that that teen budding romance flirting stuff going on with Rookie. But I'm not. I was never I was never a Ryo mark. I think he fits in about here though. I think he does fare out better than these, but I don't think he has enough going for him on his own, taking Tamers as its own thing, outside of the Ken stuff and the Wonder Swan games and everything else. On his own merits in Tamers, I think he's about right here. Um, then we have this bloke from Cross War Season 3. Um, God, what was his name? God, I remembered Hat Boy's name, but I can't remember. I can't remember. Oh, jeez. His name will come back. His name will come back to me. It will certainly now because I'm going to look it up. Uh, I can see the scene where he betrays Shoutmon and everything. Um, and I like he had a Psychmon, which is like psychedelic Gabumon, and it evolved into Astamon, which is like um this Digimon in a 1940s pinstripe suit that wields a Tommy gun, um, called Auroramon, which is hilarious to me because of reasons, but that now is not the time for that. Uh, Hunter. Uh, no, get back here, Wikimon. Characters. Ryoma. That was his name, Ryoma. Okay. Either way, Ryoma, you're a D. Uh, your your story's not interesting. It's really not. And you don't get enough time afterwards to redeem yourself for the betrayal of the group. Um, you're better than these, though. Yeah, about there. You're yeah. Right, Sora Takanouchi, classic. Um, Sora Takanouchi, classic. Tough one. Um, I think Sora Classic was done very dirty on the original timeline. You know, she was the tomboy character who loved to play sports. She wasn't into flower arranging. She got forced into it by her mother, who she didn't get along with because of their differences in, you know, how Sora wanted to be versus what her mother expected of her. And then she ends up getting into the flower arranging thing anyway. Um, she misses out from what I understand of Kizuna. She's not there because she's decided to withdraw from Digimon battles and focus on, upholding the family business and such. And that's a betrayal of Sora's character to the ninth degree for somebody who was the mom character and made sure her friends were okay and was always there at the drop of a hat for to sort of go, now this I understand the idea of going, no, this isn't for me anymore, right? Because that's a lot of Joe's character arc and the juggling and the balancing, and I appreciate a lot of Joe's character for it. But the difference is Joe's character was consistent from Adventure Zero to Try and Kizuna. Joe's character was consistent. Sora's was just kind of, I don't know if it's a case where she just eventually gives in and sort of goes, right, fine, I'll do it, or if it's more of a case of the writers going, well, yeah, she should be wearing a kimono and arranging flowers. She's a girl. Girls don't play soccer. That's a phase. It's not a phase, mom. That's kind of, I think this person's from one of the video games. Might be Digimon World 2. I'm not sure. Either way, I haven't played it, so I don't know. But I think Sora's character gets betrayed so hard the longer the Adventure Classic timeline went on. Like, I know at the end of the Adventure epilogue, like she becomes a fashion designer or something. And that also comes out of nowhere, and that probably should have been the telltale sign that, her wanting to do sports was just a phase. Or it was just a sign of her adolescence. And I don't like it. I think for as little screen time as they've given her, I actually do think that reboot Sora is better than classic Sora. If I had to rank them, the jury is still out on that until 2020 ends. The show, not the year. Um, so the jury is still out on it, but I think. Oh, what does that mean for her overall ranking? I think we'll put her between the two mats. Susie. I'm not saying her Chinese name. I refuse. Not out of any sense of um, not out of any sense of malice or being mean, but because I will butcher it beyond belief. So I'm Susie. God. Can we just put you here and move on? That'd be nice. Tai Chi classic. Oh, Tai Chi Yagami classic. Man, oh man. Um, it probably shouldn't come as a surprise, but I'm gonna put him up here. Tai Chi Classic in the original show went through being a hot-headed shonen anime character for what shonen anime was in the 90s. He went through that sort of phase. Skull Greymon happened because of his own insecurities and feeling like he was the leader, he was the one everyone relied on, and and he got a bit cocky with that as well. It got into his head, and he got in over his head as a result. Um, then Skull Greymon happened, and Taichi spends the next handful of episodes relearning what it means to have courage. He goes through a significant plot point. There's the whole thing of teaching his younger self how to ride the bicycle again, and how to pull yourself up and sort of overcome adversity and overcome just being you know, a, a not a great person to your friends. There's a lot of that. And he becomes a better character for it. Then there's the whole thing where he gets sent back to the real world, and then when he comes back, the group has disbanded, and he has to put them all back together again. And then season two, taking on the mentor role and teaching Daisuke about you know what it means to be the leader and having courage and all of that stuff, and just being a good hand for when he's needed. Try Try is the natural evolution of that, particularly of what we knew about Taichi's career path, thanks to the Zero Two evolution, where Digimon isn't this great big adventure anymore. It's this thing that has real world consequences. The battles are it's not just a digital forest taking the brunt of the fireballs anymore. It's buildings and glass and bridges and people, and becoming aware of that, and oh god, how do I manage that? And that sort of causing that crisis of confidence again that he has to sort of build himself up from. From what I understand of Kizuna, it kind of they kind of tell that story again, but it's more of his personal life. Where I thought the end of Try was very direct in the fact he was going to follow Nishijima's footsteps, and that was how we got Diplomat Tai from uh, the 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 epilogue in Zero Two. But from what I understand of Kizuna, now and I've no context, but he's sort of still struggling with what he wants to do with his life, and that causes a bit of the conflict for the themes of the show. And I'm just, oh, could we not do that? Could we not? That'd be fun. Wouldn't it be more fun to not do that? Um, Takado. Oh, Takado, you just go up here next to Haru because you two are great. You really are. Takado is great. Characters like Taichi and Daisuke, Takado was a breath of fresh air at the time. It's why I feel a lot of the similar. He has a lot in common with Haru, or Haru has a lot of in common with Takado. Um, Takado sort of stumbling into this whole Digimon thing and accidentally creating his partner and having to, just come into his own as a tamer and all of it's good. Again, I can't spoil too much of Tamers because I know I've mentioned before, somebody I know who'll be watching this is watching the show for the first time. But Takado's great. He's a little cinnamon bun, and he's great. Takaru, you know what? I don't care for Takaru all that much. Um, I I don't care for Takaru all that much. I think I'm gonna put him down here, and that might be blasphemy to a lot of people, but he didn't really contribute a whole lot in season one. He didn't. His partner evolved like 5 times. And yeah, sure, he was OP as hell, but he didn't really contribute or have a character arc in season one. In season two, he's just kind of there to keep Daisuke away from Hikari, because that gets played for laughs. Um, sure, he catches Ken's whip and punches Ken in the face, but he doesn't really do a whole lot outside that. So yeah, Takaru is like he's a bottom rung C character. He doesn't even have Jesus powers like Hikari. Reboot Takaru might. The show doesn't seem to want to commit to that yet, but yeah, I actually think Takaru is a worse character than Astra or Chika. Huh, huh. Okay. Takuya. Oh god, Takuya from Frontier. Oh, I don't want to put all the Frontier characters in D tier, but I feel like all the Frontier characters are going to wind up in D tier. Um, um, I don't remember enough about Takuya's character growth. Like, he doesn't really. Oh God, I'm trying to think of anything from Frontier, that isn't just him getting whomped on by the Royal Knights for 20 episodes straight. And I'm sorry, Frontier's writing overall really hurts its perception I have of the characters. Um, no, I mean he's not D, especially if Koji's a C. He's probably on par with Koji. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you, but I don't I just maybe I'm due a rewatch of Frontier, and maybe I can have we'll do a director's cut of this or something later. Toma. Toma. Yeah, you're a B. You're actually a high B. I think you're better. Yeah, I think that's about right. Tomo's really good. Um, the genius character, the grounded one to, play off Masaru's abrasiveness and heavy-handedness. He was a bit of a stuck-up jerk. He comes from a bit of a stuck-up family. He gets better, and his backstory in relation to how his family treated him after his mum died and all of that stuff. Spoilers, I guess. Yeah, he's a really good character. Actually, you know what? I don't know if he's better. You know what? Maybe he's about here. Maybe yeah. Actually, you know what? I think that's probably a bit more fair. He's a better character than Yamato. Is he a better? He's shares plot. He shares development points with Kiriha. Um, which makes me wonder if I have Kiriha maybe too low down on the tier. Um, maybe I do, or maybe Thomas is up too high. I think he's a better character than Nanji or Akari. Do I though? There was that whole other plan that backfired. But you know what? No, actually, I think he's more here. Huh. Yeah, like he's okay, and then he's got the the sick little sister, and he's trying to save her, and I don't think the little sister is on this list. She'd been going into D anyway, but she is not there. Huh. I guess because she doesn't have a partner. That's probably why. Um, right. Tomoki. So TK, but for Frontier. You can go down here with the other Hat Boy. You're actually probably better than the other Hat Boy, so you can go there. A lot of my gripes with Takaru roll into Tomoki. Um, but Takaru has the benefit of having like four minimum separate stories to balance all that out. Wallace, or Willis if you prefer. Willis. You're a one movie character, who may get mentioned off screen now and then. Yeah, you're probably here. Like you don't get time to be fleshed out. You're there for a movie and that's it. Like you don't show up in the anime proper. You're never really heard from again. Um, the dub made a bigger deal out of you than the original did. So yeah, but as a character, I think I like you more than Zenjiro, which means I like you more than the others. But you're still a D. Miyako. Miyako is fun. She's a lot like Mimi, and I know people are kind of upset at the idea that by the end of Zero Two, she's a housewife raising three kids, but I believe it's been said that she's just on maternity leave in one of the drama CDs, citation needed. So, and she's actually like this programmer. It's just that her and Ken have a big family. Um, and we were seeing it from the perspective of her just having a newborn and sort of in that respect. So I don't hold that against the character, but I think she, similar to Mimi, went through a whole thing of you know being being relegated to from not by having not having and by not getting enough attention at home because of her sisters, similar to Ken. She she had a similar thing which resulted in her really just sort of being greedy and selfish a lot, which is something that we've seen with Mimi's character development. And then she gets better, and she's actually one of the better written characters in Zero Two, which isn't saying much, but I don't think they do a lot with it. So I think she's a C. She's a better character than Nene because Nene's character switch really does come out of nowhere. And I would probably actually bump Nene down as a result of that, to be honest. I'd maybe put her about there. Um, but I do think her overall character arc is better. Yoshino Fujieda. Oh, Yoshi. They oh, they wasted you. Um, you don't nearly get enough of the character development that certainly Masaru or even Toma gets. There's the whole thing with the piano, but we never really get a payoff for that. But they did at least try. Like they didn't diminish you or belittle your character enough that you're a D rank. But they certainly didn't grow it enough to maybe bring you out of being a C. I think you're about. Do I prefer her more than Takuya and Koji? Let's do a bit of. Well, you're not even as I thought you. I thought you would have been more here, but maybe yeah, we just pop her there, and yeah, because at least your character arc is consistent. It doesn't just change, and I just have or I have no feeling for whatsoever. Um, by rights, a few of these I would probably drop down to D. But we'll take a look when we're done. We're nearly there. All right, I've I can spare maybe an hour for this before I need to start getting ready for my doctor's appointment. So that's not bad because we're on only on an hour now and we're halfway done. Izumi Orimoto. or Zoe Izumi. No relation to Koshiro Izumi. Uh, oh, 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 they really did you dirty. I actually think they wrote your character worse than Susie, and that hurts. You've certainly more character than these three, and you're not as bad a character as Taguru or Ryoma. I actually, yeah, you're a middle of the road D, which is sad. Like, I think she's the only character in the series. Citation needed. She's the only character in the series or the franchise so far to lose their evolution episode, to lose the battle of their evolution episode. That sucks. That sucks. And then she just never really recovers. She doesn't really have a growth arc or a character. She just, yeah, Frontier, why? Oh, why couldn't we reboot Frontier and give you a second chance? Right. Uh, God, I don't remember your name, but you're from Redigitize and Redigitize Decode. I actually own a copy of Decode, but Nintendo patched out a fix I had to be able to play region locked games because the 3DS is region locked because Nintendo were smart like that. And I didn't really pay any mind to the fan translation that's out. I probably should. I was given a link to it and a way to set it up. So it might be something we look at in the future, but for now, we're just no knowledge. Nokia Shiramine, excuse you, get up here. Our greatest thespian, um, Nokia Shiramine. Um, yeah, she's S rank, and if you haven't played Cyber Sleuth or Hacker's Memory, um, don't come at me about this. I don't care what you think about her design. Her character is fantastic, and her growth as a human throughout the Cyber Sleuth games is great. She's S rank, and I won't hear anything else about it. Oh, you. God. Also from Cyber Sleuth. God, what is his name? Um, he's researching the Eaters. He sort of drags Arata along. Seems to be playing Ri or Lord Nightmon against, seems to be playing her to get his own way. Um, Jeez, what was his name? Suedo. That was it. Akemi, Suedo Akemi, or Akemi Suedo. Um, yeah, I think Akemi Suedo. Um, I like you. I think you're weaselly. I think you're not malicious. I think you're certainly weaselly and meticulous in how you go about things. I actually think you're one of the better characters, particularly coming out of a video game. Um, like he never comes across as malicious in his experiments or his research and things. He's certainly got some moral ambiguity about him, but I'd say he's a good C character. Maybe he's about here, if not here. That's weird to even see, but I don't know. Again, card might be subject to change on this. I might have to pop him up into B, but we'll see how we get on. Um, Pink-haired girl from Redigitize. Can't remember your name right now, so we'll just stick you in no knowledge. Ami Aiba. I mean, how you feel about Ami or even Takumi? as characters really depends on how much of yourself you put into them while playing Cyber Sleuth, because they are the same character for all intents and purposes, from a player character perspective, and how good or bad of a character they are is really your own self insert. So I'm going to put them at the end of the D tier because they don't really have a character. They are you. So if I've upset you by putting you in D tier, well, that sounds like a you problem. Analog Man. Oh, frig. Okay. I feel like I have to rank Analog Man and Karada together because they're basically the same person. Basically, I believe Karada may have actually been inspired by Analog Man. Analog Man is the villain of Digimon World, and he's just straight up a human that wants to destroy the Digimon. There's no gimmick to it. Much like Karada, it's not a cop out Oikawa situation where he was possessed by Myotismon or Vamnemon. Um, so I'm injecting video game characters here is going to be friggin' wild. Um, I actually think Karada goes up here to start. I think Karada is. Ooh, this is going to get me in trouble. Yeah, I think Karada's about there. And then Analog Man is probably about here. No, no, no. Is Analog? He's more, sorry, more of a B. So I think he's more here. I know people are going to be annoyed about that, but uh, that's just my feelings on it. Then we have Arata um, from Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. The blue box. If Where to put him? Arata Sanada. Where do we put you? Yeah. Yeah, I think Arata is really good. Like, Arata is a character. Yes, he's a character, but sort of struggling to overcome his own mistakes of the past, reunite with his former teammates, and then how he gets pulled into the cyber sleuth goings on and his manipulation by Suedo, and then sort of trying to redeem for that the what he puts himself through during the Eater crisis. He's got a really good arc, and I do enjoy it. So he's probably maybe not that high, but he's certainly a high A. Maybe put him about here, midway. Okay, so he's more mid. I don't know if I prefer him over Koshiro, and I think these two are. I don't want to have. No, you know what? I'm happy with that because if I put him up here, it might just be adventure bias at that point, and I certainly don't have that. So yeah, I think that's a good spot. Um, Pardon me. Oh, and then we have this guy. Now he's only here while I talk about him because I know my little avatar in the corner is blocking the icons. So, uh, what do I say? Hmm. So, Chitose Imai, our our resident philanderer and womanizer. I really did not like this character at first. I really didn't. And Yami, who is generally in the comments on our Digimon stuff, will attest to that. It actually took a second playthrough of Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory, when we were doing the version on Switch. It took a second playthrough for me to really sort of come to like the character. Now, he doesn't rank particularly high for me, but I don't think he deserves to be down in the trash. Not that D rank is trash, but I think he's a better character than any of these. And the jury is out on whether you think he's a better character than any of these. I don't think he's better than any of up here. But if I had to put him, I would probably put him in high C. And I think that's where we're going to put him. I think my C tiering needs to sort of be readjusted at the end of this because, but yeah, and you know what? Actually, no, that makes sense. No, I'm actually happy with it. So moving on then, Erika Mishima, also from Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. She's another S. I'm starting to see a pattern with the S tiers. So Erika she's the best character in the game. She really, as far as Hacker's Memory goes, she's the best character in the game. She doesn't take like she's got brains to burn, quite literally. Given the plot of Hacker's Memory, she's literally got brains to burn. She doesn't really take any crap from anybody. She's you know, is happy to experiment on her Digimon partner and find out what makes it tick, similar to Koshiro in the original show, who, when they were in the power plant, basically hacked into Mon to find out how evolution worked. Um, and then, everything that goes up towards the Hacker's Memory finale and the impact that it has on the Cyber Sleuth universe as a whole. Yeah, no, she's great. Um, Whether I would move her up the rank, it is interesting because if I do, I feel like do I like her more than Nokia? I don't know. We'll come back and look at this again. I think C I'm kind of happy with. S I might have to reorganize a bit when we're done. Ah, and then there's you, and then there's God, Faye. That was her name, wasn't it? Faye had a huge crush on Yugo or Yuko, if you prefer. Um, she was she was fine as a character. I don't think she was overly amazing. She was kind of tropey in the angry bodyguard who's actually a sweetheart and has a crush on the person she's a bodyguard for kind of way. I would say if I would probably put her between Takaru and Koji. Or Takaru, geez. Takuya and Koji. I would probably put her about here. I don't think she's any more than that. Her character arc isn't certainly on par with these. You know, she might be better than Yoshino though. Um, no, no. I'm happy with that placement. And then we have our detective from Cyber Sleuth. Um, Not sure why you get to be here and Toma's sister doesn't, but um, God, I don't remember his name right off the bat, so let's just call him Gumshoe for the moment. So, Detective Gumshoe, yeah, probably about here. Um, yeah, probably about here. Okay, so, what's her name from Next Order? We've only just played that twice now on the channel. Oh God, what is her name? Um, Himari? I think it's yeah, Himari. Um, yeah, I actually think you're probably about here. Um, I think like Himari and oh God, the other bloke. Where is he? This, this lad, whose name I don't recall at the minute, but I probably will when we get there. Um, oh, Kota. Yeah. Actually, do you know what? It's probably better to rank these two together. Himari and Shota go through similar character arcs throughout the course of the game. And I think I might prefer Shota's because it results in a dark evolution. And similar to Taichi in the Adventure Classic universe, he sort of has to learn how to come back from that. So I don't think by all means his character is greatly written, but I think I'd be happy enough leaving these two like that. Um, and then the Digimon Lynx mascot girl. I do not remember your name. I am sorry. You're probably down here. Anyway, I didn't really get far in Lynx. She just seemed to be. I don't know if she had any relevance to the plot of Lynx, but my experience of was just welcome to Digimon Lynx. This is how you do things. Let me talk you through the tutorial. Sort of that. So I think that's fine. You're free to disagree with me. Ah, Jimmy Ken is next, and I'm sorry, but Jimmy Ken is A rank. Um, like that's where Jimmy Ken belongs. No, Jimmy Ken's a high A rank. Like he really is. Like Jim. Okay, I'm obviously being facetious here, but he definitely is an A rank character. Um, obviously we'll pop him down here, but I love Jimmy Ken. I love just how much of an I love how much of an ass he is, just how much of an antagonist he is. Um, how much he just despises Yugo and his group of hackers and um, yeah, like it's just like Ethereal Hummingbird is such a really good track as well. Like it's in my head as I'm talking about you because anytime I see Jimmy Ken, the tune to Ethereal Hummingbird just goes off, and I can't help myself. I'm not going to sing it because I will butcher it. And come on, have you heard me? I'm a sadist. Sorry, I'm downtrodden, not a sadist. That's how that line goes. Botching the references, AJ. Well done. Well done. Golf clap for me. But yeah, no, Jimmy Ken's great. He doesn't have one of the most dynamic character arcs ever created, but the presence he brings on screen is more than makes up for it. The presence he brings more than makes up for it. This character, I don't know. I think you might be from one of the DS games. You might be from Lost Evolution. It's either that or your Nene's sister from the Cross Wars manga. I'm gonna run on the presumption that this is the girl from no, the Lost Evolution girl had pink hair, didn't she? Oh, maybe you are Nene's sister then. Oh boy. No, you're too pixely. You have to be from a game. It's not the best mugshot for the character, so I'm just gonna presume she's from a video game and just leave her here. All right, Hero, Digimon World. Uh, he's all right, I guess. I think his next order variant portrays him in a much better light. But oh, you're in here twice. Hero's in here twice, or Mameo, if you prefer. He's I'm not. Don't worry, I'm not placing them there. I was just getting them on screen. So, uh, you, you know what? And then Mameo can go. You know, that's just based on my experiences. If you feel differently, you feel differently. So next order, Mameo goes in C rank, and then Digimon World Hero goes bottom of D because he's a video game protagonist. And to my recollection, not a very uh, I don't want to say not very well executed, but on the more forgettable side. I do need to start wrapping this up. So thankfully we're in the last run. The villain K, as a villain, um, I wasn't enamored by you as a villain. It feels like your arc just sort of came and went. So you're at least a character though, so it does put you above the Iba twins. You know what? Yeah, you know what? That's a bit that's kind of fitting. There we go. Sorry. Kisuke. So Kisuke is a player character that actually has a personality. He's never referred to by name because he's the player character, but he has facial expressions, he has animations, he interacts with the cutscenes without the player's input or choices. So it's less that where with Cyber Sleuth base you were these characters. With Hacker's Memory, you were only seeing the plot from his perspective because he had characters like you to play off of, and Erica and the rest of Hootie. So he doesn't just end up down here because of video game reasons. I actually think he's a high D. I think he's probably up here. Might be, and that even then that might be too low. I actually think that might. Sorry, the Cyber Sleuth games are amazing. That might actually be too low if I had to really think about it. Um, Maybe he's more here. Card subject to change. Um, okay, Kyoko. I nearly said Hinami there now, but that's it. Kuremi. There we are. Kyoko Hinami is somebody else. Let's see. Kyoko Kuremi. Well, yeah, you're a B. I mean, um, you're you're probably there, if I to be honest. Um, your whole her whole storyline throughout the Cyber Sleuth game, the reveal about who she really is, um, the whole dynamic about her father and his interactions with Kamashiro Enterprises and all of that. Ki- Kyoko is this high up based on her plot twist and not her as a character. Her as a character, we don't really see a whole lot of, given what the plot twist surrounding her is. But a lot of it does feed into how that element of the story works and plays out. Without, I suppose I'm gonna have to go into spoilers if I want to explain it. But she's the Royal Knight Alphamon in disguise, who has inhabited her body while Alphamon searches for the other Royal Knights. So elements of Kyoko's true personality influence Alphamon, but because it's Alphamon and not Kyoko, it's tough to say whether Kyoko as a character is up that high, or if it's the Alphamon influenced by Kyoko who's up this high. And for me, I think it's the Alphamon influenced by Kyoko rather than Kyoko herself as a character. And that also plays into Ri she Ri Shibi. Oh God, what was her second name? Um, God, I think it began with an S. Oh, what was her? God, she Kishibe. That was it. Sorry, I thought it began with an S. Ri Kishibe. That also sort of plays into Ri Kishibe, and because she's really the Royal Knight, Lord Nightmon or Crusadermon or Lord Nightmon. Let's just stick with Lord Nightmon. Um, for a similar reason. I think that the character is portrayed very well with just how just batshit insane Crusadermon is driven because he's trying to support the personality and the essence of Rikishibi, who, as we learn throughout the story of Cyber Sleuth, wasn't exactly the nicest person on the planet to begin with. So you've two egomaniacs, and one is inhabiting the body of the other and trying to maintain this facade that eventually drives it insane. Yes, she's definitely up here. I think she's probably on par with Kyoko for that reason. Then we have Lush from Next Order, and I don't care for Lush. Like, Lush is here. I'm sorry. And then we have Date from Cyber Sleuth. Date is amazing. Nokia's cousin, apparently. That never gets explored in game. That's in side material, or it was confirmed in a Q&A or something. But Date as a character, she's not an A. I would love to put her up in A. I really would. But she's definitely a high B. And again, it comes down to similar reasons to Jimmy Ken. She doesn't have the most dynamic character arc, but um, it is about the personality brought to the screen and the impression that she makes as a character. And then she ends up getting partnered up with a Lopmon, and it's adorable. But she's probably here. If I'm being honest, I think she's probably about here. If we, she's definitely a B tier character, but if I had to judge her based on who's in here already, she's probably about here. Um, then Mirei Mikagura, our Digimon Time Lady, um, travels throughout time and space, gets involved in multiple games and multiple universes, redigitize Cyber Sleuth and Next Order, probably survive. Like, it wouldn't shock me. And this is one I'm just going to be very biased toward. She's S rank for me simply because I love the idea that she's just this digital time lord who travels time and space and interferes on multiple alternate universes. Also, she's top tier waifu material, so sorry, not sorry. But no, but like, joking aside, like, there is a lot to like about her personality and her character. Um, you know, and her, like, she basically runs a TARDIS where you can train your Digimon and raise them and farm them up, and um, being able to communicate from beyond the void, or from beyond the void, because she seems to be trapped in digital space, which is what allows her to visit these alternate continuities. And it's she's just fun, And then she has two partners, Anjouamon and Lady Devimon, who can become Mastemon. So, introducing new elements to the series, in terms of a Jogress. But I just think she's a really fun character. An S is probably a bit high up. Like, if I'm being realistic about this, right? I'm not just going, oh yeah, top tier waifu, S rank. because she doesn't have the range of characters of a Nokia or Erica, and certainly not of an Eri or a Ken. If I had to be honest with myself, I would probably put her about here. So let's do that. In the interest of fairness, pal, let's do that. Then we have Reika Tawa, who works for Tower Records in Cyber Sleuth. You're like here, like your dynamic with Edamon and later Metal Edamon is really fun, but that's just that's yeah. Okay. Rina Shinomiya. Good God, you're in A rank as well. You're probably about here though. You're on the lower end. You're in A rank, but you're on the lower end of it. And again, presence, personality, similar to Mirai, alternate continuities. Like she turned up. Her own game was redigitized Decode, not the 3DS version, not the PSP version. So she started in redigitized Decode. She's turned up in Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory, Next Order, probably going to be in Survive as the cameo. Like her and Mirai seem to be going to, or seem to be getting set up to do this forever. Um, and she's probably in Re-Arise at some point. I haven't played Re-Arise in the longest time. It wouldn't shock me if she's in that. Probably not, but it wouldn't shock me if she is. And then just her relationship with her Ulforce Vidramon, Vivi, is so adorable. Um, so yeah, I think that's yeah, I think that's enough. Again, I am sort of trying to be conscious for time because I got to go and get ready for this appointment. Ryuji. I do not like Ryuji. I don't like his character arc. I don't like his whole being possessed by God. Um, Similar to Algomon, every evolution is the same name. Um, God, what? No, not Millenniumon. Um, Arcadimon. That's the one. Arcadimon. I don't like that. Like the stuff that he says about Erica while quote unquote under possession just still bugs me even today, and bugged me even more on the replay that we did when we were playing the Switch version. I will concede that he belongs here though compared to everyone else, but that's that's about as much grace as I'm going to give him. You look like Zenjiro from the Cross Wars well, you just look like Zenjiro in general, but I think you're a manga character that I haven't come across. So we're just going to put you in no knowledge because if you're Zenjiro, we've already covered you here. And it's that same sort of hairline and those same eyebrows and such, but I don't know. Maybe you're not. Either way, you're not immediately familiar, so we're going to move on. Sayo from Digimon World Dawn and Dusk and Digimon World Cyber Sleuth as a special DLC character, or just there if you got the complete version on Switch. Um, I would need to go back and replay Dawn and Dusk to see if Sayo and Co aren't just player inserts and see if their characterization really depends on how much of you impart onto them. So, but she didn't really have much of a character. Like, she wasn't the worst in Cyber Sleuth. Very Sundera-ish. Very abrasive toward the main character, and it's not like I did it for you, Baka. Very much one of those characters, and like it's certainly not the worst, but it doesn't give you a whole lot to play off when she's only in the game for, a couple of missions, and then she's just standing off to the side, I think, when you go back and visit the lab. So she doesn't really get a whole lot to work with. And I feel like that would have been the same if they'd have brought Ko in, the uh, the other side of it. Like she's obviously the mascot for Dusk, and Ko would be the mascot for Dawn. But I think even if they'd have brought him in, he probably would have been the same. Like he'd have just been, "Oh, I'm energetic, Goggle Boy, yeah." Like I don't think there would have been much to him. So I'm gonna make your. I think she comes off better than the Hat Boys and the Miniskirt Police, but I really just don't seem to like ranking characters better than Iori, Kazu, or Kenta. Actually, Ryoma on that matter, yeah, you can pull up here. But having you below these two was probably a bit mean. Yes, I'm probably happy leaving her there because she doesn't really have a whole lot of screen time to develop. Um, and then we have Takto and Shiki from Next Order. Again, player characters, they don't have a lot to go on. They represent you more than they do the game they're in, so we'll just put them below um, Takumi and Ami because, yeah, it's the same logic. Then Ryoma from Next Order. You were actually kind of okay. Um, I didn't dislike you. I would probably, I'd certainly put you above um, Shota and Himari. So probably yeah, about there. I think that's a good spot for you. Then Taiga from Redigitize and Redigitize Decode, player character. So we'll pop you here. Um, the Pale Boy or Yugo from Cyber Sleuth. Oh God, Cyber Sleuth, Pale Boy. Or is that the Pale Boy? That is. No, it's not the Ghost one. It's just Yugo. Yugo as a character. I someone might think I'm ranking him too low, but I think that's fine. Um, like he starts off as your tutorial mentor, shows you the ropes in the basic game of Cyber Sleuth. And then you're combating against him, not as a rival, not as a villain, but like, you do become rivals because you've different ideals on, what's best for Eden and how that affects like the future of Digimon and how Digimon should be treated and all of that stuff. But um, I actually think he goes through maybe top of C rank is a bit much. He's probably at the same level as Suedo, maybe a little bit above. I think that's probably a little bit more fair. Um, and then we move on to Yu Nogi, who, a little bit of trivia if you weren't aware, the voice actor for Yu is also the voice actor for Taichi in the Adventure reboot. But this also does mean that we have two Yus on the show, in the franchise. We maybe have a third. No, 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 it's just these two. So it's Yu Amano and Yu Nogi. But Yu as a character, oh, I wasn't a fan of. I'm gonna be honest. I think he works like Kisuke. He's probably on the same level as Kisuke for his importance to the plot overall in Hacker's Memory. And I do like I appreciate that he's pretty much in love with the main character. Like this that's they don't really um they don't really beat about the bush in that situation. But I the whole thing, his whole just sort of timidness, and it doesn't really appeal to me. Um, so is he better than? You know what? I'll put him next to the other U. I don't know if I like Ryo. I don't. No, I don't. I don't like the other Ryo better. And if I to be honest, I'd probably move. I'd probably do that. So we'll keep the two U's together. But he see. Here's a weird thing. I like these two. No, actually, I don't. I don't. I'm gonna move these about. This is what I'm saying. C rank is subject to change as we sort of move forward. So there. Keep the Amano siblings together. Unless we've just dumped the other one down here. I don't know if that's the sister from Cross Wars or if she's from one of the other games, but sorry, the sister from the Cross Wars manga. I should elaborate on because in the Cross Wars manga, he doesn't exist. Instead, Nene here has a little sister. Um, right, so Yuko Kamashiro, a like she's up there. She's not an S rank, but to be honest, like if I was going to if if you were to ask me a question like which one of these characters do I think I'd get on the most with, probably Yuko. I think we'd probably just spend all day in restaurants getting fat. I think it's just yeah. Let's just what are we gonna do? Let's go eat. Yeah, let's just go eat the restaurant completely. Let's just go eat it out. Let's yeah. No, Yuko resonates a lot with me for the love of food and then she's got a whole lot going on with the corruption of her father's company, the stuff about her father's suspicious death, all of that stuff. And I think she really turns a corner in respect of her relationship with Yugo, her brother, in various formats in terms of how that relationship works and Yugo's presence in Eden and what that means overall. So I think she's a very good character. Um, so yeah, cool. Um, you're from Redigitize, so we're gonna drop you down here. Uh, Satsuma. No, that you're Satsuma. Um, oh God, I know in the dub you're called Homer. Um, and like for a couple of episodes, Masaru just refers to him as the old man with the digivice. Uh, like his partner is Kamemon, which is great. Um, Yushima. I don't remember his first name though. Is it Hiroshi? Is it Hiroshi Yushima? I could be wrong there. Um, you know what? When in doubt, internet. Oh, it is Hiroshi. Yeah, Hiroshi Yushima. The old man with the digivice. Kamemon's partner. A member of the original DATS team who investigated the digital world before Daimon Suguru, who is not on this list. Why is Daimon Suguru not on this list? If Daimon Suguru was on this list, Masaru would be an A rank and Suguru would be the S rank. So, um, uh, but I think he's a fine character. I think his relationship with Gatsumon later on, where they're just always getting drunk together, is really fun. Um, I think you're about here though. No, that's maybe too high. Okay, let's have a look here. Yeah, do you know what? That's probably fine. Um, and then we have Commander Satsuma or Samson in the dub. And similarly, I mean, you're probably yeah, you're probably on the same Yeah, that's probably fair. I mean, he doesn't like he's partner to Kudamon, who is a royal knight. And also he was part of the original investigation team 10 years before the start of the show. And when they're no longer the Men in Black, he gets some pretty badass moments, but I don't think he really overshadows any of the other characters on the list. I mean, again, feel free to comment and correct me in the comments below. And then we have Yujin from Digimon Universe Apple Monster. Yeah, gotta put the boyfriends together. Yujin's such a good character. Like Yujin is the character Haru wants to be. Yujin is the one that's good at sports. He's the protagonist of his life story. He's not a background character. He takes things head on. He gets the cutest partner in Offmon. I won't have a bad word said against Offmon. I really won't. I will ban you if you insult Offmon. Um, and then the plot twist about why they're such good friends, how, Eugen came to be, his relationship to Haru and his family overall, um, his dealings with Leviathan and how all that sort of folds in on the original story. It's Eugen's really good. I'm sorry, but Eugen's really good. I think he might, yeah, and I think his placement here is warranted. Not just for keeping the boyfriends together. Oh yeah, you know, um, where are they gone? So we have this couple, and we have this couple. So don't say Digimon doesn't represent. Um, but yeah, okay. So Ray's brother isn't on the list. If I to put him somewhere, I would probably put him maybe somewhere around here. Like he does have a lot of influence on the overall plot because of Rebootmon, but as a character, Ray's brother isn't great. Masaru's dad, Daimon Suguru, should be S rank. He would be at S rank, probably above Eri. I don't know about that. Maybe after Ken. He definitely Suguru would definitely be an S rank. Um, look, I understand you obviously can't put every single character ever, but if you're going to go to the trouble of putting video game characters in, you can flesh out a couple of more of the more relevant members of the Masaru family or Ray's brother, considering they have such influences on, considering how much of an influence they have on the overall plot. Um, I think that's only fair. But from what we've, and I can't put Mamayo in twice. So yeah. Uh, alrighty. So let's have a look here. So S rank, Eri Karan, Kenichi Joji, Juri Kato, Masaru Daimon, Nokia Shiramine, Erika Mishima. A rank, Taichi Yagami Classic, Mirai Mikagura, Yuko Kamashiro, Haru. Don't remember your surname, Haru. Very sorry. Yujin, Takado. I'll just forget about surnames going forward. So, Yujin, Takado, Koshiro, Arata, Kurata, Akihiro Kurata, Ray, Ruki, Mimi, Rina, Jimmy Ken. B rank, Henry, Joe, Kyoko, Ri, alternatively Alphamon and Crusadermon, or Lord Nightmon. Taiki, Akari, Date, Analog Man, Toma, Yamato, Sora, Kiriha. C rank, Hikari, Miyako, Yugo, Suedo, Chitose, Yoshino, Takuya, Ryoma? Oh, we've two Ryomas. Shoma. Isn't it Shoma? Yeah. Oh, actually, wait, do we have two Ryomas now as well? Shoma, Digimon. Oh no, Suzuki. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Ryoma Shoma just sounded right there for a moment. It's like, no, that's not. That's not. We've played this game. That's wrong. So, all right. So Takuya, Shoma, Shota, Himari, Faye, Koji, Mameo, Detective Gumshoe, Kisuke, Yu, Mako, Nene, Yu, Rio, Satsuma, um, Hiroshi, um, Iru, Astra, Chika, Alice, Icto, Taguru. Sorry, forgetting names as I go, even though I've just said them. Uh, yeah, Hiroshi, Yushima, yeah. So Satsuma, Yushima, Iru, Astra, Chika, Alice, Icto, Taguru. Then Wallace, Zenjiro, Daisuke, Junpei, Suzy, Izumi, Kei, Ryuji, Sayo, Iori, Ryoma, Kazu, Kenta, Koichi, Miki, Megumi, Tomoki, Ren, Hiro. Then we have Reika, Takumi, Ami, Taiga. God, what? Oh, geez, I only said his name like 2 minutes ago. Uh, Sheik, Sheik. It's gonna bug me. Sorry, I know it's interrupting the flow of things, but it's gonna bug me. Takto, that's the one. So Takto, Shiki, Lynx Girl, uh, Lily. I don't remember her. I genuinely don't remember her name. Then we have Lush, and then we have, you know what? Because I don't remember your name. There we go. So we have Lush, Lynx Girl, Taguru, and then we have video game characters that I'm not familiar with. So I think that rounds off our tier list quite handily. Again, you're free to agree or disagree. Let me know in the comments down below what placements would you have given some characters. If your intention is just to put the eight original Digidestined in S rank, I would rather not hear because that's not original. It's been done, and half the comment section will probably agree with you. Um, but if for the placements I have, if you shuffle a couple of those around, let me know, and let's have a bit of a chat. But I am going to leave it there as I do have a doctor's appointment to get ready for now. So look after yourselves, everybody. We will be back very soon with more streaming content. Again, I am starting to feel better and um, yeah, to have the strength to do that. So do look forward to it. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend and take care, all. Drink your water, be safe, like and subscribe, and you can follow me on the social media icons on screen. So check those out, and I'll chat to you over there as well. I suck at endings. You should know this by now. So, bye. See you all soon. Bye bye.